Okay, good morning. We're up to Siman Reish Base Sif Gimel. So we're talking about the Birchas HaPeres, the brachas we make on different types of fruits and all different types of combinations and situations. Says the Machaba in Gimel, Garine HaPeres, the seeds, the pips of the fruit. Im heim mesukim, if they are sweet, mevorech aleim ber proetz, then you make a ber proetz. V'im heim morim, but if they're bitter, einam mevorech aleim klal, you don't make a bracha on them at all. V'im miskon al yidei ha'or, but if you sort of improve them by cooking them in some shape or form, then mevorech aleim shahakal, then you make a shahakal. Okay, so again, what does the Mechaba say? 3 rules. If you're eating the garinim, the seeds of the fruit, then if they're sweet, you can make a ber proetz. If they're bitter, you don't make a bracha at all. And if you've improved them somewhat, then you make a shahakal. Says the Mishnah Berurah Sif Kotten Chaf Gimel, Mesukim, lav dafka that these seeds are sweet. Elakol shachech nene mimenu b'miksa. So long as the palate can enjoy them somewhat, then that's sufficient to make a ber proetz. V'hatam shemevarich ber proetz, and the reason we make a ber proetz mishum tuhunami chelek mechelek apri, is part of the fruit, and if it's part of the fruit, you make a ber proetz. V'harbe achronim cholkim al zeh usvir lehu de'ena mevarich ber proetz. They argue and say you do not make a ber proetz on the seeds. To le'avi kapri gufa, it hasn't got the status of the fruit itself. Ve'ena mevarich aleihem, and you don't make a bracha. Ela beirei priu adama, rather you make a adama. V'chein haskomas hagra, and that is indeed the opinion of the Vilna Gaon. He says in 29, v'chazan ish tzidei shekol hagarinim sheyesh b'hem lachus, any seed which has some sort of moisture in it, v'royu limtzoy, and you can suck out the liquid. That already makes it qualifies it for ber proetz. V'im beirach ber proetz yotza b'di eved b'di yotza. V'im oichel hagarin achas she'oichel hapri. If you eat the seed after you've already eaten the fruit, then mistaber to the kula alma nifta b'birchas ber proetz. Then if you're eating the seeds after there, then you make a proetz. Why? She'berach hapri mishum davet tofel hapri. It's considered tofel to the pri, and therefore you made a ber proetz on the fruit. So therefore that would include the seeds. Morim, if they're bitter, then there, right?
If it's bitter,
yeah.
but you've eaten the fruit already,
then again,
nothing.
Because this part is included in the fruit. Yeah, exactly. Mevarech olem shahakol, harbe sif kotzen chaf hey, harbe achreinim hikshu al zeh. You make, again, what did the Mechaba say? The Mechaba said that when it comes to eating the garinim of peiros, if they're sweet, you make a ber proetz. If they're bitter, you don't make a bracha at all. And if you've improved them, you cook them in some way, then you make a shahakal. Says the Mishnah Berurah on Chafei on the shahakal, harbe achreinim hikshu al zeh. They are v'daitayu de l'das ha'mechaba de garinim havik prigufa. They hold that the seeds, according to the Mechaba, are parts of the actual fruit. If you improve them, you cook them a little bit, if they're considered part of the fruit, then why do they transform to a shahakal? They should just be a ber proetz. Like we're going to say in Sifei. V'yesh metartzim, da'afilu l'de'ezu la'adif v'garinim k'shkedim, gufa shem ikar pri, ma'shenken b'garinim. With the shkedim, they are the fruit itself. Mashenkin, the garinin are considered different. Therefore, if they are bitter, lo mikri pri klal, they're not considered anything. They're not considered fruit. Miu ledina ein lozus mipsaka shulchan aruch the belav hachi kosavna mekedim das harbe achronim v'agra michlolom lachlik al ika din of the Mechaba. They argue the actual din of the Mechaba. Or the two gam garinim mesukanim ein mevarach aleim lechol hayesei rak ber preadomo. They would actually say a ber preadomo on the fruit, on the seeds, the lav prininu, because it's not considered part of the fruit at all. And therefore, if you improve them, they are different, and therefore you'd make a shahakal rather than a ber preadoma. Okay, so again, just to summarize, on seeds of fruit, if they are sweet, you make a ber proetz. They're a chelik of the fruit, according to the Mechaba. If they are bitter, then you don't make a bracha on them at all. If you've improved them somewhat, then you make a shahakal. Okay. Now, next halacha, shemen zayis. What if you drink olive oil straight? Some people do it for health reasons or whatever. So we'll see what the Mechaber, his take on this is. Shemen zayis, olive oil. Im shasa'oi kumoishahu. If you drink olive oil straight, eina mevarich olav klal. You don't make a bracha on it whatsoever. Mishum da'azuki mazikle, because it's considered harmful. V'im achle im pas, but if you eat it with bread, eina mevarich olei de pasika. Then you don't make a bracha for another reason. That is because you made hamoitzi, and the pas is the ikka, and therefore you don't make a bracha on the things that you eat with the bread. The normal rule. If, however, you take the olive oil and you add it to other things, for example, to beetroot juice, which is some sort of a source of oil, which is made of juice of the beetroots, and all kinds of boiled vegetables and things like that. She'oz eina mazik. And then the olive oil is not mazik because you're eating it, you're drinking it together with it as part of it, like a juice, a cocktail of a juice. Adarabba. Then humaya lagar, on the contrary, when it's drunk in that situation, it's beneficial. It helps the throat in mucheshish begroin if he's got a sore throat or something. And then havle shemen ikka, the shemen becomes the ikka, and mavarich olav berproetz. So if you're doing it for refuah purposes, the main medicinal ingredient is the olive oil, and therefore you make a ber proetz. If you're just eating it, this or drinking it, havele anigrain ikka, the other things, the other ingredients, the beet juice and other things are the ikka. The enem mevarich al anigran ella, you don't make a bracha on the anigrain, on the olive oil part of it, and rather, as the brackets say, you just take a shahakol. So again, what we said, shemen zayis. If you drink shemen zayis straight, we'll see the halacha lemaisa nowadays. But if you drink shemen zayis straight, the Mechaber says that it's considered harmful, and therefore you don't make a bracha. If you eat it with bread, then of course the bread covers it, and you don't make a separate bracha. If you make this anigrain, which is this cocktail with beet juice and other juice of other boiled vegetables with olive oil, then if you're doing it for a fuah because you've got a sore throat, then you make a ber proetz. If, however, you are not doing it for a fuah, then you would make a shahakol. Okay, let's see the Mishnah Berurah, some very interesting notes over here. So, kumushu, says the Mishnah Berurah Chavov. So if you're drinking the olive oil straight, kumushu, i.e., says the Mishnah Berurah Chavov, b'lo ta'roves dova acher, lahachlish kach hashemen, without anything else to weaken the effect of the oil, then you don't make a bracha. Why? Chavzayin da'azuki mazikle, because it's damaging him. Va'afilu chayshish begroin nami ena mevarich. And even if you've got a sore throat, you don't make a bracha. The shemen kamushuhu ein nehenem mena. Because if you're drinking olive oil straight, there's no hana. You're not getting any benefit. Now that's the important point. So take a look at 32. I don't know if you got. You will got the 32. Va'af shelagabi kemach sa'irim. Even though it's damaging, you still make a bracha on that. Since you're getting some sort of enjoyment out of it, you still make a bracha on it, even though it could be injurious to your health. However, since you're getting enjoyment, then you make a bracha. Now, which comes to the very interesting question: does a diabetic make a bracha on some sugary food that he eats? Because on one hand, it's enjoyable. On the other hand, it's damaging to his health. So does he make a bracha? So if you take a look at the next paragraph in footnote 32, V'choyle sukares sha'ich machal im sukkah, I think a diabetic who eats sugary foods, das hagonim nissen kareletz shemavarich alav k'birchosa haru'uya. You make the regular bracha. Why? Even though it is damaging for him to eat it, but at the end of the day, you're getting benefit, you're getting enjoyment, hana, from the actual eating, and that requires a bracha. In contrast to our pure olive oil that you're drinking straight, which is you're not getting any benefit. That's why the Mechaber says you don't make a bracha. You're going to ask me that a diabetic, or who, whatever the situation is, he shouldn't be eating because it's injurious to him. So how can you make a bracha? The pasuk says you're sort of blaspheming if you're making a bracha on something which is dangerous for you, which is normally used in the context of eating tray food. How can you make a bracha on a Big Mac, on tray food? it's blaspheming. However, Das Hagon Yashiv, quoted in the Chashuki Chemed, is Sherak Bracha Achreina in Yochel Levarich Mitam Zeh. That concept of Boitzea Berech Nietz Hashem, blaspheming, is only referring to the Bracha Achrona. So you don't bench after you've eaten something which is damaging to you or treif or whatever. Ach Bracha Rishena Yevarich. But if it's a Bracha Rishena, then you do. Because a small bit of cake or chocolate or whatever, so therefore the explanation is that a diabetic would make a Bracha Rishena on foods which are sugary and which are injurious to him. But it's the Bracha Achrona which is caught by the Boitzea Berech Ne'etz Hashem. On tray food, there's a machlokes about that. That's a separate discussion. But anyway, we're talking about injurious foods. Okay, now, what about olive oil today? So you look at the next paragraph in 32. Nowadays, having straight olive oil, nowadays our olive oil is very refined and all the damaging particles have been removed. Now the poskim debate whether the din has changed and you would make a bracha on straight olive oil. Das Hagon of Shmuel Vosner, Sha'af pi kain nechshav kamazik the inchi bracha is still considered mazik and injurious to your health in terms of a bracha, and therefore you would not make a bracha. V'chein kosav b'shad shuv z'or l'tzion shelamaisa ein nira shenishtanu hatvoim b'din zeh. Things have not changed. V'af shenira she'ein mazik, even though nowadays it's considered not injurious, and on the contrary, I think some people consider it healthy to have olive oil. Maybe it's considered a healthy food. Ein zeraya, that is not considered a raya. And if Chazal say it's dangerous, then it's dangerous, and therefore don't have it straight. If you're having pure olive oil on its own, even nowadays you should not make a bracha on it. But if a person does want to drink it, then you then you use the old trick that you make a bracha of something else on shahakal, have whatever, something else, and then that bracha shahakal will cover the olive oil that you're going to have straight. Okay, Beseda. Let's go back to the Mishnah Berurah.
It's one of the Shivas Minim, though. It's a bit.
Yeah, so it's interesting because the bracha achrona, lechera will be an aloitz. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so kofches impas says the Mishnah Berurah impas pirush afal gav the impas in a mazik la shemen, because if you have the olive oil with bread, then afal gav the impas in a mazik la shemen va'adarabba nehena mizeh. It's very geschmack. You're having bread dipped in olive oil. You don't make a separate bracha on the olive oil because it's covered by the bracha on the bread. And it passes the toffel. Even if you had a lot of oil, I remember once being away on I did a Pesach program once, to give shirim there, and there was another fellow there who was a cardiologist, and one time he gave a drasha about health and whatever, and he was saying about the importance of olive oil. If you add it to salads, it's very good for you, it's very healthy. And afterwards, people were taking, there was like a bowl, there was a salad bar, and there was a bowl of olive oil, and people were like just throwing it on the plates, and just, so even if you have a lot of olive oil with your bread, Nami ain't a toffel the pas. At the end of the day, it's still considered toffel for the bread, and you just make a hamaitzi. That's only if you're eating the shemen with the bread. However, that's because you're doing it out of enjoyment. You like olive oil with your bread. But if you're doing it because you've got a sore throat, I'm only having the bread so that I can, it's just a means to have the olive oil. It shouldn't cause injury to me to have the olive oil straight. In that situation, the shemen will become ikka. And you don't need to wash your hands. Now that's very interesting. So again, let's just summarize. What are we saying? This goes back to the old story. Let's say I want to have a bit of herring, right? And I want to have a whiskey, but I can't drink whiskey straight. So I want to have a mazonis with it, or I have medication and I can't. I'm not very good at swallowing pills. So I want to have some crackers, and I eat the cracker and then I throw the pale in, and it goes down. In that situation, the bread, the mazonis, whatever I'm eating with the pill, the whiskey, whatever, is considered toffel. and therefore I wouldn't make a bracha on the toffel because the ikar is the whiskey, the shahakal, and therefore I don't make a bracha on the bread or the mazonos or whatever. We'll get to that in this Shem, ikar and toffel. It's an important halacha to know. So here he's saying, if I'm having the olive oil, but I can't have it straight because I'm worried it's going to be injurious, so I'm having a bit of mazonos with it, or a bit of bread with it, then I only make a bracha of Ber Pro Eitz on the olive oil, and I don't make a bracha on the bread. And he says over here, not only do you not make hamotzi, you don't need to wash your hands. Now in 33, he says, Omnom, however, if a person has a bit of bread to take away the sharpness of the drink, like I just described, but in a way that the pas is going to be toffel to the drink, you don't make a bracha on hamotzi, that's for sure, because the ikar is the drink and not the bread, and therefore it's toffel. The question is, you need to wash for that toffel bread. And there we had it said as machleikas valkein im yesh pas pachas meshir kazayis yesh lahakal shlodet kashit tefela. If you're only having a little bit of bread, less than a kazayis, just to let to help the medicine go down, as it were, then you can be makel with, and you do not need netilas yadayim. Okay, let's just finish off. The even in that situation, the pas is ikka. Okay, im mei silka. So we said with this anigroin, you add some juice of beetroot. V'uadin im arvo im eze shar mashke b'inyan shenena mirashem al-yedei ve'ena mazika. And so too, if you're adding other liquids to the olive oil, you put olive oil in your lemon tea or something like that. Then havale shemen ikka, and then mevarech umar pesagar, because it's therapeutic, it's helping, it's helping your throat. V'afagav the anigron meruba lashem, even though the anigron, the other liquids could be meruba, could be the majority, nevertheless the leazin and bay kan bossa roiv hamashki. You don't go bossa roiv hamashki. Al kol davar sheikku kavnosei shu ikka le'inyan habracha v'asheni nifta bir chosei. Okay, so therefore, just to summarize so far. Again, what have we said? That if you're drinking shemen zayis, if you drink it straight, it's considered injurious to your health, and therefore you don't make a bracha. If you have it with the bread, the pus covers it. If you add it to other liquids, if the ikka is the olive oil, then you make a ber pro eitz, even if it's the minority, and otherwise you would make a shahakal. So mavarech alav ber pro eitz if it's the ikka. Ula achrov, and what bracha do you make afterwards? May ein shalosh sim shasa kashir. If you drink a kashir, then you make a bracha achrona may ein shalosh. So if you look at the 35, the shir zeh, what is the shir? Shesorch shir b'shem and atzmei lo tzir v'mashkim acherim. I.e., you don't look at the combined liquid, you look at the olive oil shabai. Now, did that olive oil content have a share? Because oil, as we know, when you mix it with other drinks, it separates. So you can't combine it with the other drink. And you only have to look at the olive oil content to know if you've got the amount of a share and how much is the share. So he says he brings here revius, chilas price, whatever it is. So revius is a small amount. If you have that much olive oil, then you would make a bracha me'ein shalish. Okay, let's just finish. Lamed Gimel, Anigroin Ikka, Umashma Medivrei Hataz, the Mari Shemi Hasalka, the Mea Salka, the beet juice, Heim Haroiv Legabe Shemen, Velafich Hashem Nitfale. Aval Amogan Avram, Kosov, Afilu Anigroin Muat, Nami Anigroin Ikka. It's still considered the ikka, the olive oil, kol she'in the refuah le'echol, mevorach al anigron and poita shemen. Shahakol, but if you're doing it not for refuah, for achila purposes, then you only make a shahakol. Kain kosov Rambam shom, v'chein mukach b'tamid Rabbeinu Yoina v'Magen Avram. Toma, the Magen Avram questions that. Damavur lekam b'simin reishei, the berachas me'ashlok, v'su adoma. So why are you making a shahakol? V'agrom miyashvei, the hochem and shemas l'shemesakne l'shtia, harihu kamashke berachas shahakol. And the Gra would answer, because you're making it into a new drink, and therefore the new drink requires a shahakol. Okay, say that.